Okay, so real quick, let's look at what Substance Painter spit out for us in Photoshop. So as before, like here's our normal map that it gave us. We had no normal map before. Now we actually have a normal map to work from. So this was just the materials being thrown right onto the object. So this is what we got for it. I'm not cropping anything. Okay. So what is this clown makeup that we got, or whatever this texture is? It threw it on top of this layer, which I find funny. Don't place. All right. Let's see if I can just open that object up. I did not expect Photoshop to throw it right on top of the top layer there. I didn't want it to do that.
Was that object space normals?
What that was actually the roughness and metallic map put together. It should be.
Got it, got it.
So let me find that painter, demo, fakes, and let's go to roughness metallic. Okay, so this looks odd. Like this is actually our roughness and metallic map put together. How does something like this get read in Unreal? Well, the thing is roughness, metallic, and AO maps and emissive maps, all they are is black and white. They're just desaturated images, just grayscale images. So one of the first ways you can tell, like, it's going to be kind of weird to look at it, but right now this file is being read as an RGB. Usually this will come out as a grayscale, but another way you can actually see what came out is you go to your channels tab. Your channels tab is like probably one of the most important tabs when you're dealing with masking and stuff like that. And you save a lot of data too. So take like you have an AO map, you have a roughness map, you have a metallic map, and you have emissives. You could technically store 4 images on one image and export it out as a target. Because RGB combines all that, but if you go to a red channel, everything's white. Green channel, we now have our roughness channel. And then blue, this is our metallic. So we technically have 2 pictures in one. So our green and blue channel are going to be retaining our roughness and metallic. So let's keep that in mind when we go into Unreal. We can always check it again once we get to Unreal. Okay, so let's step into Unreal now. So we have our basic first-person template. Again, if we just go in and push play, cross our fingers, we didn't crash, and we have a guy with a gun. And he does this simple shooting. Yeah, sorry if I scared you all with that. Forgot it does that. So one of the first things I'll do is I'll just set up a new folder. I'm just going to have this one be the static meshes. And I'll just call it assets. Keep it simple. And in this folder, I will have one other folder called my materials, and one other one called textures, just so I can keep things, file directories the way they are. So that way I know any assets that use materials or textures that are in here that are static meshes, I know where to find the materials and textures at. So let's import our Canon. So in our desktop, in our Substance Painter demo folder, let's import our OBJ. I have a feeling when I bring this in, because I exported it out as Y up, that it's going to be facing down, because everything in Unreal likes to read things Z up. Unreal gets that actually, I think, from 3ds Max. So no, 3ds Max reads everything Z up as well. So a couple things. I built the Canon to scale from the third-person character mesh I got out of Unreal. You can export that stuff out directly, so it should be to scale. If it's not, you can always play with your import uniform scale, which will scale your object up for you when you bring it in. So my import rotation I know is wrong. I can't remember if it's roll, pitch, or yaw. I'm not going to worry about it. This is just a static mesh right now. It's not skeletal. I don't need collision, and I don't need anything else. So nor did I have any materials. It's not going to bring anything over, so I'm just going to import it as it is. Give Unreal just a second to compile it. Okay, no smoothing group imported. I'm not going to worry about that right now. It did bring in one material. I'm actually going to use this because I'm too lazy to build a new material. I'm just going to rename this to M underscore, let's call this assets base. The reason I'm naming it that is M underscore is always indicating materials. It's just standard naming convention in Unreal. SM is static meshes, but you don't have to worry too much about that. I'm just going to move this to materials folder for now. And let's take a look at our Canon when it's facing up, which is dangerous. We rotated 90 degrees. So, yep, so our cannon's in here now. Cool. Now we need to get our textures imported as well. So let's go into our bakes, and we can rename these what we want. So, gonna have to, well, I'll just keep them as it is. It kind of tells us right here, base, normal, base color, normal, metallic.
Ideally, you want to shorten the names, those are very lengthy.
Yeah, it makes it harder to kind of find and search because really I wouldn't keep SM. I'm going to name it right now because just to keep practices going. So T underscore for texture, Canon, let's call this diffuse. Let's call this one T underscore Canon. And this one was the norm. And this one is what I'm going to name really funny, T underscore Canon. Yes, MRAO. Sorry if I can't even type it because I got caught up in saying that. So now it's not technically in the same order I named it, but I'll explain it in a minute here. So let's get our material on this object. A lot of practice I see people will take their materials and they'll drag it and drop it right into this object here, this material, but I tend to do it in the static mesh itself. So for now, I'm just going to open the asset base material and edit it, and I'll kind of show you what happens if you don't do it a certain way with a static mesh. Okay, so I thought that was the Canon there for a second. I was like, whoa, it's already done. So by default, it will give us a parameter of white. I'm not going to worry about that. I don't really need it. What I do need is I need just our 3 textures. So I can shift click all 3 of those, drag and drop them in, and we can go to town editing our material, making a cool little system out of it. All right, so obviously this is our normal map. Also to be sure that when we imported our textures that Unreal read our textures correctly. So checking out normal, we got to make sure that it changed the compression settings to normal map. So base color should just, I think, be a standard texture, which is color, normal, and this is not correct. Because remember, this is an RGB, yes, but it's actually a grayscale map. So I'll show you what happens if you just plug it right in first. Let's plug this into our base color. And this one here, remember we have 2 different maps inside this image. If you come up to view, you can actually specify what channels you would like to look at. So we know that in our blue channel we have our metallic, and our green we have our roughness value. So let's take these 3, let's take these nodes here. This is RGBA, this is red, green, blue, and alpha. So our blue channel has our metallics, and our green channel has our roughness. All right, so now you can see something's going on here. So I'm going to save that real fast. And because I want to be a little bit faster, and I really just hate kind of jumping back and forth, you can see it kind of came in now, but it's way, way too shiny. The reason why it looks like that is because there is a gap that happens between Substance Painter and Unreal. Substance Painter likes to render things its way, whereas Unreal will render things it's a different way as well. First thing we can kind of try to fix this is we can actually come into here and we need to change this from a red, green, blue default. We need to change it to a mask. So just remember to change this to a mask if you're using multiple images on different channels. So be sure to save that out, and if you go into here, we are going to have an error because it doesn't know what to do with it. Simple fix, really, just re-click your texture, hold down T, bring another one back in, if it lets me. There we go. I'm going to hold down Control.
Can you just reconnect?
Yeah.
Or refresh that previous node? You have to bring
True.
the new texture node?
No, yeah, you're right. My bad. I'll shut up now. But yeah, you can just come down here, switch this to masks. I totally forgot about that. Just skipped my mind. And you'll notice it's a lot brighter now, and it looks a bit different in the viewer. I'm really lazy. I just want to use this mesh here. So I can click the mesh. I can use whatever static mesh that I find in this library. And I can come over to this teapot, and I can view it in here. Again, it's upside down. It's wrong, so it's kind of hard to view. But it allows me to at least hold down L, and I can view it view the lighting in here as well. So let's just save that out. Let's take a look at what it looks like in the world again. I'm using a base material. Usually you'd want to do this stuff with material instances. It's cheaper. But you can see it's not as shiny as it was. So it gets us a little bit closer to what we had going in Painter. So really that kind of is a very quick, dirty way of just like throwing materials on your mesh that has like no maps on it whatsoever. And then just bringing out the textures, importing it into Unreal, and then just changing out some of the parameters and then bringing it into seeing how it looks in the world. There's a lot more stuff I can get into for Painter and getting things to look better and actually making way better look and decay in this, but I think for this video I'll probably stop on that, and then if you guys want me to, I can go into further detail on the other aspects of being able to make this object look way better. So I'll stop the video there.